everyone. On this week's Ex Libris, we're going to talk about one of my favorite genres of books, my favorite types of books, and that is biographies and also autobiographies. Now, most of my library is nonfiction, and I really enjoy biographies and autobiographies because those books are very inspiring. When you read about other people's lives, you see parallels with your own. For example, like somebody might be going through a same type of problem that you're going through, but maybe 200 years ago, and you can learn from other people's experiences. So that's why whenever I need to get inspired or, just light a fire under myself to get going for whatever project I'm working on, I always read biographies. There's always at least one biography on my night table because, I always have at least 4 or 5 books going at the same time. So we're going to look at some biographies in the library today, and it actually gave me a chance to reorganize because I am reorganizing the entire library. I'm trying to do it by subject, but it's a little difficult because, some of the biographies of certain individuals also fit into other categories. So I'm not going to put the biographies of Houdini in with the biography section next to Johnny Carson or Ben Franklin or somebody. I'm going to keep the Houdini stuff with the Houdini shelf. Little decisions like that are what make individual libraries so unique because of the way that you have to categorize things. So let's start with a really cool biography. It's in terrible condition. It's missing the front cover and probably a few pages. But I got it for dirt cheap, and I got it because it's such a cool one, and I really, really admire the subject of it. This is The Life of Ben Franklin, and this is the 1809 edition. So when you think about it, he died in 1790, so this book came out only 19 years after his death. That means that people who actually knew him could have read this copy of the book. I mean, members of his family could have been reading this and said, yeah, I remember that happening, you know what I mean? I was there. How cool is that? I mean, so 1809. And just like anything, I like going back to as close to the original source or the first printing of every book as possible, because I find that way you get the origin, the original, the basic core of whatever the author was trying to bring across. And if, for example, in P.T. Barnum, in his autobiography, he revised it over the course of like 20 or 30 years because new things happened to him, and he said, you know what, maybe I should have taken that one thing out, or maybe I was wrong, or whatever. So it's good to have editions that cover a wide range of years because you can track the growth of the person. But in the case of Franklin, he was already dead when this came out, and he wrote this while he was alive, so it's mostly his words, and it's pretty much true to the first edition of his autobiography, which came out in 1757. So but this actual copy, 1809, I mean, it's a glimpse into everyday life, especially in the Philadelphia area. But, it's just, this was such a great book, and I read this thing, I think in like 2 nights. These things have been reprinted over the years, so you can get a brand new copy of this and compare the different wordings and things like that. That's another cool thing to do. So even though it's in terrible condition, this is probably the oldest biography that I own for now. But let's take a look at some of the other ones that I have in the collection. I like to read about as many people from as many different backgrounds as possible because it's just, you always find something that you can apply to your own life. So let's take a look at some of the biographies in the new biography section.